So one of the things that has excited me so much about being a member of the Smart Consent team over the last several years is our active and positive approach to educating around sexual consent and talking about it with young people as well as adult educators. And I think this play, for all its problems in the way that it was written in 1891, Spring Awakening was always a play very interested in what happens in the moment where two people decide to have sex with each other, and where they may have misunderstanding or different expectations about how a sexual script could play out. So even in the original text, there's a lot of ambiguity about whether the two main characters, Wenla and Melchior, how they decide to have sex with one another, how they communicate that, and what today reads to us perhaps, or I hope, as a very straightforward assault, does, I think still in the original have those shades of gray within it, because it's really asking, how do two young people negotiate consent when they're not sexually experienced, and so on. More than 100 years later, we know that even though it seems that we've come very far in terms of a sexual revolution, in terms of the progressive attitude changes that we can look at in things like the abortion referendum and the marriage equality referendum, although it seems that sex is everywhere and accessible at the click of a button, we still have a lot of confusion about what actually sex looks like between two living, breathing people in the moment. So doing this play was an opportunity to investigate that in some detail by looking at how people were staging sexual consent at the turn of the 20th century, and then really saying in this room of theater makers together, well, what does that scene mean now, or where is the confusion between Alex and Clara now? And it's interesting to me in ways that the situation changes. I think that Wedekind in the original was very much interested in the total ignorance that these young people had about sexuality because they were denied education. But now, like I said, we have access to so much information, but I don't know actually that our fluency in how we communicate to each other about our sexuality has actually gotten that much better. So one of the things that I'm very excited about in our new version of Spring Awakening Transitions is actually a love story between two women, Andy and Erin, that is very much about them talking out and experiencing, I suppose, the range of kinds of communication around sexual consent that two partners can have as they're beginning to explore a sexual relationship together. So for me, their consent journey in this play is the most where I'd like our audience to end up, or where we're trying to model, even if that may be too strong a word, the kind of nuance, the kind of gray areas, and the kind of up and down that are going to come over the course of any sexual encounter, whether over one evening or several years in a long-term relationship.